Yo, 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 what up, YouTube? We're in the Dove Shack. This is motherfucking Yukka at the No Pigeons podcast. So basically, I have an issue as an atheist. I got an issue with a lot of spiritual type nonsense, right? That may offend some people. I really don't care, but that's where I'm coming from, this thing, right? So in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, I've met a lot of women that were into witchcraft and witches, and I think it's all just nonsense, but I decided, hey, why not react to some of these witches with y'all? So we're going to check it out. This one's called How Practicing Witchcraft Helped This Woman Heal from Trauma. I mean, if she's into witchcraft, she probably still got trauma, but we about to check it out, I guess. We about to check it out. The fuck is this? Block ads? Close that. All right, cool. We good now. All right. Let's tune in. What is that? Tells transfers ad, cross promotion. The fuck is that? Hold up, I don't know what the fuck that thing is, but I guess it's gone now. Anyways.
There are as many ways to be a witch as there are witches, but one thorough line that runs through the history and the present of magical practice is that magic is a practice for the oppressed. It's a practice of people.
Again with this oppressed bullshit. So are you telling me that the West African, not even just West African, but African tribes people that were practicing witchcraft, they were oppressed? They were all oppressed? That's why they did it? It wasn't a spirit, it wasn't their religion or their view of life. It wasn't none of that. It was oppression. That's what it was. The fuck out of here.
People who have been rejected, cast off, or marginalized by
weirdos, basically. So weirdos, you know, the motherfuckers that you in high school, and the motherfuckers that sit there and eat lunch at their locker during lunchtime or recess or whatever the fuck, instead of mingling with other people, they outside with purple hair, sitting at the lockers eating. That's what they talking about. Those people.
By society. As a Black woman, trauma has touched so many parts of my life. I first started to deepen my practice when I was coming out of an especially traumatic situation. In the aftermath of trauma, especially this really intimate trauma, you kind of feel like your whole world has exploded, that you don't have a way for understanding who you are or how you relate to the world around you. So my magical practice, my witchcraft, was a way of reorganizing the world around me, re-understanding who I was and how I could.
No, you're not understanding. This is not giving you any understanding of who you are. This is just a niche culture that you're practicing. You're creating an identity because you don't have one, right? So you're creating identity and you want to feel special. To the people that tune in and think that witchcraft is real, you're impressing them. But to a secular person like me, you just look like an idiot, you know? You're sitting there just mixing things in a cauldron, drawing out upside down stars, 5-point stars or whatever in circles and lighting candles. And you want to feel special. You know, you want to feel special. You want to feel like you have some kind of power, but you don't. Not in terms of that.
Exist in the world. When I was kind of in the deepest pits of depression and struggling with anxiety, even though I knew that the right thing to do would be to get out of bed and take a shower.
Right? Go take a shower. But you was dealing with anxiety. Well, how about stop drinking coffee every day? You know what I mean? Stop taking stimulants, right? Stop all of that. How about that? And then see where you're at. Change your diet up. See where you're at, you know? But anyways.
I just didn't feel like I deserved those things. But by giving myself a ritual, that transformed into, I have to get up and take a shower because there is a part of me that is holy, and that holy part deserves to be taken care of. So while talk therapy was very helpful to me, it was actually magic and ritualistic practice that helped me get to my therapist's office in the first place. Whether it's acute trauma or if it's the kind of trauma.
Nah, you just wanted to convince yourself that you got some kind of power to motivate yourself, you know? But you could have done that by changing your mind frame. You could have changed your mind state, and that's it. You didn't have to convince yourself that all these herbs you're mixing together in this potion that you made is giving you some kind of power, because it's not. It's really not, you know? It's kind of embarrassing, but I'm embarrassed for her, but hey, And the fucked up thing is, I know a lot of these chicks nowadays, right? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do what do they call it? Like spirit cooking and all kinds of little, I don't even know what the fuck they call them, but I've met so many witches in the last 10 years of my life, you know, and not even just me. This is coming from Slug and a few other buddies of mine. They see this a lot. It's a lot of witches on Tinder and these dating sites. You see them, you know? So yeah.
That exists when you exist in a body that society doesn't accept or doesn't value. I've found
First of all, she's not a bad looking chick. She's not bad looking, minus the angle that I paused her at, but she's not a bad looking chick, right? So if she's not accepted by society, either she's choosing that or she's just fucking crazy, right? I'm gonna go for the latter because she's practicing witchcraft, but hey, I guess it's not fair to judge.
Witchcraft very helpful because it's a practice that really centers my personal value. And in a world that keeps telling me that I don't have value, that's a really radical act. When I was a kid, my understanding...
Who told you don't have value? Who told you that you don't have value, you know? And she's clearly mixed, so it's, you know, she probably just dealt with someone making a joke when she was in elementary school. She got traumatized by it. She never let that go, and that became her identity, you know? That being insulted once or twice, you know, in elementary school became her identity, that she's a victim, you know? So she ran with that. And so she probably watched some Buffy the Vampire Slayer or one of them type shows and convinced herself that she can create some kind of power to stop people and do... This shit does not reflect in reality, but whatever.
Understanding of magic came from like kids shows, right? One of my strongest memories of seeing a witch on TV was like this old Scooby-Doo movie where, you know, the witches were like these cool punk rock girls. It's like Macbeth witches over some bubbling cauldron naked in the woods. And when I got older and actually started developing my own practice, I found that a lot of things that are...
Developing your own practice. What did you develop? I need answers. What did you develop? This magic. Show me something. You know, you'll never see no magic, you know? You'll never see no magic. All you'll see is people talking about the magic. It's always hidden magic, right? You'll never see it. It's never forthright. You'll never experience or something undeniable that you can't refute. You'll never see, never, ever, ever, ever see anything like that. You know, it's just fantasy land, you know, and I called it too. She came up from watching the stuff as a kid, right? So this was her escape, you know what I mean? Just like young little boys that, you know, they might be in the Marvel comics or whatever, or DC or whatever. And they have this like dream of, even as a kid, what if I had the power of Wolverine or Nightcrawler or something, you know? I used to tell myself, if I had Nightcrawler's power, I would just appear into a bank vault, take as much money as I can and disappear, you know? And just be rich and keep doing it. And when the police come for me, I'm gone. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that, right? But this shit is fantasy, you know what I mean? And as a secular person, you realize that and you say, hey, well, these are just stories that someone made up, and, you know? So to see someone believe that they have the power of Spider-Man or Colossus or something, it's embarrassingly asinine. But hey, let's continue.
Magic were things that I was raised with, that I grew up with. My family is Ethiopian. My mom never would have called herself a witch, but there were a lot of beliefs in our household. Things like my
bad, I thought she was mixed. She's just Ethiopian, so whatever, that makes sense. But still, yeah, I mean, she probably was in America or in the Western world trying to find her identity as an Ethiopian American. She was probably surrounded by, you know, non-Ethiopians and felt outcasted or whatever. And so she thought the answer was witchery, if that's a word.
My mom telling me that she had clairvoyant visions. My mom laying hands when I was sick.
So your mama was crazy too. All right. There you go. Oh my God, look at that face. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. Call me crazy for calling that crazy, but that's crazy. But I feel like mama might have had some screws loose. Not to be offensive or nothing, but mama might have had some screws loose, you know? I wouldn't be surprised to hear that the father wasn't around too, right? I wouldn't be surprised, but hey.
Using these folk remedies to heal the body, to take care of me. It wasn't until I got older that I started.
You know what? To speak on it, speaking of folk remedies and witchcraft, so I come from East Africa as well. And when we were kids, my dad was working in Germany, and my mother was back in, I don't know if she was in Somalia or Kenya at the time. I think Kenya, right? In Mombasa or something, right? And me, my brother, and my sister all came up with malaria, right? My dad said that the malaria fucked us up. We were like, we couldn't even formulate sentences. We were just kind of fucked up, right? And so with my older sister, Aaliyah was her name, my mother went to a witchcraft type thing, right? What happened with my sister is that she died. She died, right? Because my mother believed in this witchcraft nonsense. And yeah, my older sister died because of that. Me and my brother got medicine and whatever, and we were healed. But yeah, my sister, I don't remember her because we were babies, right? But that's what happened to her, witchcraft, supposedly.
Started dabbling in magic on my own, and the first sort of official magic that I practiced was tarot. I picked up a tarot deck. I kind of got it just to like have something to play around with, and then I started doing readings and realizing, oh crap, like this is actually, you know, true is a really loaded word, but this is real, right? This is giving me something.
True. I had a couple exes into tarot and witchcraft. One of them, she would go to the witchcraft lady or the tarot lady, whatever, and she would convince her that, oh, you're going to find love, and just a bunch of generic nonsense, right? Do you have a brother? Oh my God, I do have a brother. Yeah, well, he's going to this and that, and oh my God, wow, I'm so happy to hear that. I can't wait to get home and tell my brother this, right? But it's just fucking nonsense, you know? The other ex, she used to teach, she used to read tarot. You know, she started when she was like 16 or something. She got a job. First of all, if you're clairvoyant and you have all these skills, right? First of all, she just want to be special. She just want to be special. But if you're truly clairvoyant, how are you just getting hired at a tarot place, like just some random kid off the street getting hired, taught to be clairvoyant? You know what I mean? And so this other ex, the tarot reader, she openly said, yeah, I don't know. I just got a job and I started doing it. I learned how to do it. You know what I mean? And yeah, she ended up becoming a prostitute years later. Must have been that power. I wonder if the tarot cards predicted that.
That I couldn't have gotten without using this particular tool. If you look deeply into any of the major religions, you will see a lot of things that look like magic. Prayer looks a lot like magic. Mass, as somebody who went to Catholic school, right? That looks a lot like magic. There's a.
Are you speaking about the practices within witchcraft, or are you talking about actual magic? Because I don't know how the fuck prayer looks like magic. You know what I mean? You know, to the average person, magic is what? Actual shit you can't explain, right? How the fuck does mass and prayer look like magic? I don't understand that. I don't understand. Maybe she has a different definition of magic, right? But the common person, magic is, you know, unexplainable phenomenon and so forth. Not like the LL Cool J phenomenon. You know what I mean? That was a trash record, but whatever.
A lot of ritual that's involved. There's a lot of invocation. I think the difference between witchcraft and these major religions is who are the people who are the sources of power in those religions. Patriarchal institutions have survived and given themselves legitimacy by
Patriarchal, it's always this feminist nonsense. And this is why people can't really take feminists serious, because a lot of them practice nonsense like this, right? So what? Patriarchal institutions gave themselves legitimacy. No, men built civilization. Men built that. It wasn't just giving yourself legitimacy. It was built. Civilization, engineering, horticulture, the industrial age. This was all built. This isn't just given. Okay, it took engineering minds and very, very intelligent people to come in and discover these things and evolve them and grow them and build them. None of this just happened on accident. It wasn't just like nepotism, you know? It can't just be dismissed as nepotism. So
by virtue of being sourced from men. Is this magical practice less rational or less scientifically founded than any of the major religions? No.
No, but they're all bullshit too.
But because it's historically been practiced by women, because it's historically been practiced by savage and uncivilized people of color, we somehow see it as more suspect than.
So basically, it's legitimate because you're a victim, basically, right? Victimhood. It's legitimate because of victimhood. That's basically your argument, right? Not patriotism. Sorry, patriarchal powers and victimhood. Those two answer why you have power, I guess.
And some of the also logically inconsistent rituals that exist in these major religions.
Sorry to keep pausing, but Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they're all based on pagan theology, right? So saying that the major Abrahamic religions are inconsistent goes to show where you're at, right? Because even though the Abrahamic faiths shun witchcraft and stuff like that and paganism, a lot of them are rooted in such, right? A lot of them are rooted, and pagan is just a dismissive word for like non-Abrahamic religions a lot of times too, right? But you look at Easter, which was the worship of Ishtar, right, in Persia, and what else is there? Astrology. That's just pagan nonsense, right? What? Not nonsense. I can't say nonsense because it was, at the time, it was the intellectuals trying to understand the seasons and the way of the universe, and anthropomorphizing, right, the sky, coming up with answers for it. And a lot of people, the average dumb, deaf, and blind, they absorbed it as the truth. But sometimes it was just explanations, right? But the average person would just accept it as, oh, okay, so this is literal, right? And a lot of these people, their foundation is on that, believing the shit is literal, you know? And it's the furthest thing from. But I can understand people, the average person, seeing an old wise man and saying, oh, yeah, well, the season's about to change. Oh, wow, he got magic powers. He got an understanding that we don't have. Yes, he does, but it wasn't magic. It wasn't magic. It was understanding the ways of the flow of the skies. When seasonal changes would happen and the moon would get smaller or the sun would get lower, or you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever.
Asked all the time, especially on first dates because it's in my Tinder bio.
Tinder bio, right? And how many first dates you had? How many second dates you had? That's the real question.
Right? Like, do you really believe in this stuff? Do you really think it's real? I don't know if it's real, but what I can.
So when those dudes ask you if you really think it's real, they're sizing you up. They're trying to see how crazy you are, your level of crazy. And your answer is, I don't really know if it's real. You just went through 4 minutes of talking about how you got these powers and magic, and you confirmed in your mind that it's magic, and wow, I can predict this and do that. And it all boils down to, you don't know if it's real. Okay, I see.
Can say is that magic has made my life better. Magic helps me manage my anxiety. Magic has helped me recover from trauma. Magic has helped me feel more beautiful, more kind, more.
Sports would do that. Playing one of them little nerd games like Dragon Quest or whatever, that shit would do it too. It's just keeping your mind off of your sick thoughts. You have sick thoughts inside, right? You have trauma, and so when you're alone, you're you're delving into these thoughts. You're not addressing them. You're not fixing them. You're deflecting. You know, you're ignoring them, and you're just distracting yourself with this nonsense, right? And to be honest, I'm embarrassed for you.
Compassionate, more like the person that I want to be. So for me and in my life, magic may not be real in this provable way, but it's true.
Okay. I'm happy for you. She's probably gonna be single her entire life, but whatever, man. What can you do, right? But hey, I really don't know how to further expound on that. Like, you yourself doubt its validity, but you claim it's true. It's true, but it's not. It's true in your mind, right? You don't have any evidence, no proof, no nothing, but apparently there's some truth behind it. You couldn't explain that. You imagine being put on HuffPost or anything with a large consumer base audience, and you decided to come in there unprepared and with no evidence, no proof. What can you really say about that? That's very unprofessional if you're trying to prove any validity in what you're doing. But hey, whatever, man. I'm gonna check out some more of these witch videos because I think this shit is fucking hilarious. But all right, man. Like and subscribe. This is Yukka from the No Pigeons Podcast. Peace.